We had a shower about half an hour before the start of this race, and the rain has abated, but it has left that part of the track. But here is the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel on pole as he was in Australia. Felipe Massa on the front row for the first time since Bahrain 2010, and he's out-qualified Fernando Alonso now 4 races in a row. Mark Webber hasn't finished higher than he started since Spa last year, lines up alongside Nico Rosberg, Jenson Button and Adrian Sutil occupying the 4th row of the grid. Kimi Raikkonen takes a 3-place penalty for blocking Nico Rosberg during qualifying, but remember, Raikkonen has won from outside the top 5 before, as he did in Australia, of course, this time last week. Daniel Ricciardo, damage to his car as he went off into the gravel on his way to the grid, and a bit of damage to the rear diffuser. That won't help him. An engine change for Pastor Maldonado doesn't take a penalty, but piston damage necessitated that. Valtteri Bottas knocked out in Q1, only 0.2 of a second faster than Jules Bianchi, who was impressing many down at Marussia. And whilst Guido van der Garde may have qualified last of the 22, his time 15 years ago for the first ever Malaysia Grand Prix would have been enough for... And the lights are on, 5 of them. And it's lights out, and away we go, and it's a decent start from Vettel, and Massa is starting to catch him, and Fernando Alonso is right wheel to wheel with his teammate. Lewis Hamilton ahead of Mark Webber, who's got a decent start here, as Alonso tries to pick his way around the outside and into turn 1. It's Vettel from Alonso, from Massa, and Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton almost side by side. Mark Webber on the inside could get caught out a little bit here, as Alonso, I think, touches the back of Sebastian Vettel's Red Bull, and now Mark Webber tries to squeeze past, and does move up into second place. Cracking stuff from Mark Webber around turn 2, and there's damage, I think, on one of the Ferraris. Yeah, Fernando Alonso from that touch that he got with Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, he's got something hanging along that side, but it's not holding him up at the moment. He's gone back around the outside, down into the braking zone of turn 4. So Red Bull, that's badly damaged. He'll end up having to change that. The pieces will start flying off it. Didn't stop him committing. He probably doesn't know. It's so far out front and out of your vision. He probably doesn't know at the moment. But I'm sure they'll black and orange flag him if the pieces start flying off that front wing. He'll have to pit.
And Jenson Button moving up into 5th place, tiptoeing his way through the tricky conditions as well. Vettel racing off into a decent lead here. Behind him, Alonso and then Webber, and then Lewis Hamilton catching Mark Webber. There's Paul Di Resta in the Force India, battling with Romain Grosjean. Kimi Raikkonen just ahead of them as Di Resta gets squeezed out wide just a little bit going through turn 9.
Isn't it nice to see Mark Webber having a decent start and then really making it stick through the first few corners? Alonso caught him out a little bit down into turn 4, but now look at this, Webber with Alonso so little front end grip with that broken front wing, and still he won't give up around the outside. Amazing.
Fantastic stuff from Fernando Alonso. He's keeping ahead of Mark Webber, but surely is going to have to come into the pits at the end of this lap, as we now see Mark Webber moving to the inside. Cars concertinaing behind. Alonso carries on his way. Mark Webber thinks he can get him on the exit of the hairpin, and once again 2 cars getting very close to each other, side by side. Down the main straight we go, with Mark Webber catching Fernando Alonso, passing Fernando Alonso, and moving up into 2nd place as
he's going to go straight.
Front wing
Watch out, Mark.
absolutely gives up. Unbelievable. Alonso could have come into the pits. He hasn't come into the pits, and he will be very lucky if he gets out of that gravel trap now. That could be curtains for the Malaysia Grand Prix for Fernando Alonso.
Surprised the team didn't call him in on that one, if I'm honest, because, you know, that's the big problem. It goes underneath, and actually you can have huge accidents like that. And he managed to steer away from everything else.
Here goes Sergio Perez having a look on Felipe Massa into turn 4. Perez stays down in 8th place. And this is what it felt like for Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, and then he realised what's gone on. I wonder if he knew his front wing. He must have seen the sparks actually coming alongside him. And it's pretty terrifying at that moment. It's that's 3rd on your scariest list. First one's a stuck throttle.
And Checo, if we had a safety car, would it be dry enough to fit the dries, do you think?
Out at the end of the 2nd lap, Sebastian Vettel has a 3.3 second gap between himself and his teammate Mark Webber. Lewis Hamilton running in 3rd place ahead of his teammate Nico Rosberg. Then Massa and Perez, as you can see now, Jenson Button under pressure from Nico Rosberg in the Mercedes. Rosberg might have the inside line through turn 1. Button, if he can keep side by side, has got a better line through turn 2, but has he got the better traction coming out of it? It's almost like this is a slow motion replay. Such are the tricky conditions down at turn 2 and then turn 3. Button just about staying ahead as DRS is now enabled on lap 3 of this Malaysia Grand Prix, and Rosberg goes down the inside. Button trying to stay ahead. Surely Rosberg's going to get him now up the hill and over the crest. Just about, but Button hanging on in there before finally conceding that place. We can see the start now. Massa just didn't get away in the way that he has done in the last few races.
Raikkonen had a miserable start as well in the Lotus.
Certainly did. Hulkenberg moving up into 9th place by the end of the 3rd lap.
So let's have a look at this. Watch Mark Webber in 4th. Well, he's in 6th at the moment. He then turns that into 4th. The 2 at the front, Alonso and Vettel very close together. And Vettel gets himself clear air, but Alonso runs into the back of him. Didn't make enough allowance, and we're going to see that very clearly indeed now. We're going to see his teammate come over and try and put the frighteners on him, but you need to get up very early in the morning to frighten Fernando Alonso, presumably with the lights off as well, because he was having none of that. So he's thinking, I'll go around the outside. Vettel squirts the throttle, gets away, and then Alonso just locks the left front. There's a lot of camber down there. It's a little bit clumsy from Fernando Alonso, it must be said.
And this is Nico Hulkenberg. We mentioned Kimi Raikkonen's bad start. This is how Hulkenberg took advantage, racing past Raikkonen off the line. Further ahead, Jenson Button got a very nice start indeed as well. Sergio Perez on the right-hand side. Raikkonen then comes back at Hulkenberg, and everyone gets squeezed together, but he put himself in a great position, the young German here, racing, of course, in 2013 for the first time this afternoon.
It's so easy to lose the front wing there. And then this is... So Webber's yet to come at him.
Last 3 race retirements for Alonso coming before he's completed 1 lap as we watch a replay now. Kimi Raikkonen.
Got a long way out there.
Yeah, Toro Rosso, Daniel Ricciardo, and then Romain Grosjean on the inside of that as well, and Ricciardo holding 10th place under pressure from not 1, but 2 Lotus.
Okay, Sebastian, lap times are close to crossover. When you think you can make it round on dry tyres, let us know.
Up to the driver on that call. Perez, last year's Sauber. Hulkenberg, this year's Sauber. And Perez, the inside line once again, but has Hulkenberg now got enough to squeeze his way past and move up into 7th place? He has by the time they make the exit out of turn 2, and Hulkenberg starting to make a move now. He's got Button and Massa just ahead of him, but he's now into 7th place. Behind Perez comes Adrian Sutil and Daniel Ricciardo completing the top 10. Perez for one moment thought he could take that place back again. Then comes Raikkonen and Grosjean, or Grosjean, and then Ricciardo, and then Raikkonen, and then Force India of Paul di Resta.
Yes, Grosjean's just had a very good lap in terms of taking places. Here's one of the places he took, because Kimi Raikkonen is off the road and was so lucky.
Two Mauritius and Valtteri Bottas as well, who's running in 20th place at the moment for Williams.
Long way back, hadn't he?
He has, and look, here's Mark Webber under pressure now. Vettel, sorry. Under pressure from Sergio Perez on the inters, and this is where it's going to be very, very tricky. As you can see, that car sliding around. It's all too easy for the McLaren now to get past Vettel and the Force India of Adrian Sutil. And Romain Grosjean's going to get in on the act as well into turn 4, so he's lost about 4 places. Is it the right time for slick tyres?
Let's see how he gets on. He's got to keep the temperature and therefore the pressure and therefore the ride height of the car. Remember, these cars at top speed are only 5 or 6 millimetres off the ground at the front, and occasionally, as you can see, they touch as well on the bumps. So it's all about keeping pressure and temperature and ride height, and he's got to max out the dry parts of the track. So he struggled in the beginning. This is touch and go. It'll be very interesting if he's gone a lap early.
Okay, Lewis, we're sticking to plan A.
As we watch Romain Grosjean now down the main straight with Daniel Ricciardo on his left-hand side. Grosjean is now ahead and moves himself up into 9th spot. And here's Kimi Raikkonen lurking at Toro Rosso. Now they're on the slick tyre. Doesn't look as competitive, but Raikkonen's not enjoying himself this afternoon at all, is he?
Car looks a right handful, doesn't he? Just can't get the power down at all through turns 2 and 3. And there's a right moment, especially on quite a long lap like this.
Now, we don't often get much change going around the outside at turn 9. Kimi trying something a little bit different, and Ricciardo had it covered on the inside.
Good driving from Ricciardo, not getting intimidated by the man who leads the World Championship at the moment.
And we saw, didn't we, Charles Pic having that problem with Jean-Eric Vergne in the pit stops, but Guido van der Garde, who come in much earlier at Caterham, now up to 14th. So paying dividends for an earlier stop for the Dutch driver.
Look at that lap Webber's just done, a 47.1, that's mighty.
Here goes Raikkonen again, sorry Martin, Ricciardo's behind him this time. And much better pace with DRS down that back straight, and an easy move.
So Nico, we don't think there's any need to look after the tyres.
But as you saw, catching Jenson Button very quick at the moment, and here's Romain Grosjean, who's behind Sergio Perez, down in 9th place. A little replay. And using DRS, Perez should be easy meat for him, and is.
Pretty quick this year, that Lotus down the straight. Another replay then. And this Force India on Force India.
As we go into turn 1, on board the Lotus of Kimi Raikkonen. He's got Perez in his sights, but he just can't quite get past him where he would want it to. And once again, that car does look a bit of a handful.
Rosberg, some 1.7 seconds quicker than the leader.
The way this is going, Martin, Vettel, Hamilton and Rosberg could all find themselves using DRS at round about the same time here, as that's the reason for the yellow flag. Pastor Maldonado has lost half of his front wing in the Williams. In the second week running, he's gone off the track, showing little sign of being able to get past him at the moment. What happened to Maldonado? Just got on the curb, didn't he? Went far too wide.
It's actually surprisingly easy to do them.
And no rain detected at the moment, thankfully.
Tires are starting to go, both front and rear.
That explains why Jenson Button has managed to drop Nico Hülkenberg. Back to Raikkonen and to Perez. He looks a little bit closer now, does Kimi Raikkonen. What can DRS do for him? Down the main straight, getting a nice toe as well. This time, just that little bit closer out of the hairpin. Raikkonen manages to move up into 9th place. Perez tries to fight back at him, but Raikkonen's a few car lengths ahead. That's not going to happen. Great shot there from the rear of Mark Webber's Red Bull.
Look at the right rear wheel rim. It's almost sticking out. It's sticking out way beyond the bead of the tyre. Can't see it in that particular shot, but it's an extraordinary amount of flex and lateral movement.
Just get the feeling there that Hamilton's tyres looked a little bit in better condition. That was Gutierrez going off the road. We can see why. Adrian Sutil managed to pass him. Paul di Resta, who has been slowly but surely catching Daniel Ricciardo for the last few laps and is now within DRS range, as you can see. You don't really want to be passing a driver going into the hairpin with a DRS this weekend. You want to be doing it now in the second activation zone, where they can't use an artificial aid to try and get back past you again, and that's exactly what Paul di Resta has done, and he moves himself now up into 11th place. And it's going absolutely horribly wrong for Force India. There's a problem with the nut sticking. They're trying to grab the nut. What is going on here?
They can't send him out for safety reasons. A 4.2 stop for Raikkonen, if that's correct. That's very slow.
Right, so there's Felipe Massa and Nico Hülkenberg. Massa had been out there a lap longer, and he's got fresher, or warmer tyres I should say. Manages to get past Nico Hülkenberg and move himself up into 8th place. Hülkenberg's going to try and come back at him. Grosjean is waiting there as well, and there's Raikkonen in the distance, getting closer and closer to this battle as well. On board with Romain Grosjean we go through turn 5,
bold.
Sweeping down the hill, very bold. Saw Jaime Alguersuari do that a couple of years ago in the Toro Rosso. It's a great feeling when you can sweep past there.
Okay, Sebastian, same strategy as the previous stint. 3-second gap, save your tyres.
I think di Resta is retiring from the race. The skate is going underneath that Force India car.
Sebastian, try to look after your tyres. You're too close in the fast corners.
Okay, Mark, we need to target high 41s on lap time. We need to target high 41s.
And his last lap was a 1:42.0.
Mark is too slow. Get him out of the way. He's too slow.
Well,
said with disdain.
Well, absolutely. And if you're Adrian Newey biting your fingernails, or if you're Christian Horner tapping your foot, as you often do you take any notice of that?
Sebastian, be patient. It's only half race yet. Only half race yet.
Pulled away from Jenson Button, who's just about 10 seconds further back. Kimi Räikkönen, meanwhile,
For the second time has been across there.
yeah, taking the rather bumpier route.
The World Championship leader is having a dismal afternoon.
Just looks a completely different car, that Lotus, to... Looks like Adrian Sutil is out of the race along with his teammate Paul di Resta. This could be the first time that Force India have had two cars retire, as we look at Max Chilton and Charles Pic in the battle for 17th place. And on the option, the medium compound tyre, and he got close to Sebastian Vettel coming into the pits. Nearly caused a puncture for the Red Bull and some front wing damage for his Mercedes. How close? Let's see from the top of the grandstand.
Yeah, you take a different line when you can take speed into the corner.
As Mark Webber and Nico Rosberg come into the pits, and once again Sebastian Vettel is free to start to put his foot down and increase those lap times, as here goes Charles Pic on Max Chilton into the first turn. Pic makes that move stick and moves up into 17th place as Nico Rosberg makes his way out behind his teammate Lewis Hamilton, who has been setting some blistering sector times now that he's changed to a new set of the medium compound tyre. Lap extra on those medium compound tyres, and he switches to another new set of the mediums. Only used one set of tyres other than the intermediates in qualifying, so he's got lots of new tyres at his disposal, and he's coming at 100 kilometres an hour as his teammate Mark Webber is accelerating to 188 miles an hour. And not only that, but Lewis Hamilton as well. So Lewis Hamilton ahead now of Sebastian Vettel, who only just gets out, ahead of Nico Rosberg in the Mercedes. So that extra lap might just have cost Sebastian Vettel here, although he's on fresher tyres, of course, than Lewis Hamilton, who stopped about 3 laps ago. We ride on board with Nico Rosberg in the Mercedes. And we can head down to Ted.
I've just been down to the Mercedes garage. Now, their race plan on that last stint was to push 100%. Forget about saving your tyres. The plan and the instructions to Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg were to close the gap on the Red Bulls, push as hard as you can, and then we'll pit you when the tyres were finished. That's why they came in a little bit early rather than preservation. But now it is all about preservation. Lewis Hamilton has been told to remember to lift and coast. Martin, that's about saving fuel, though, isn't it? Lifting and coasting.
Normally, yes, lift and coast is when you've used too much fuel up. So let the aerodynamics, let the drag slow the car down and get off the throttle pedal.
But it will 25 lap final stint, Red Bull or Mercedes, can they do that and keep to a 3 stopper, or are they going to be forced by these tyres to make a 4th stop?
Okay, Desde, you're currently leading the race. All cars behind have pitted onto prime tyre.
Things don't feel too bad.
Well, in which case then, Jenson Button might be in a very good position here to be making 1 stop less than those around him. He might play
One more stop to make, pushing hard on this set.
on a fresher set of tyres. Webber, the long-time race leader, is now gaining on the McLaren, but is he gaining enough to regain that race lead going into turn 1? Under braking, he shoots past Jenson Button and might overdo it a little bit there as Button starts to fight him back again. Webber's got the inside line into turn 2, and that saves him and keeps him now in front of Jenson Button and leading the race once again.
Kimi Räikkönen then pits for his 3rd stop
And
of the
look,
afternoon.
coming out straight at the same time is Nico Hülkenberg in the Sauber. Now they can get racing again, and Hülkenberg should have the inside line going into turn 1 here. He's ahead of Räikkönen. Perez then just squeezes past and almost slices the front wing of Nico Hülkenberg in his McLaren. Räikkönen on Hülkenberg, wants to go around the outside, getting very, very close to Hülkenberg and has to concede. As Jenson Button has been put stint there from Jenson Button of 14 laps on this stint.
But he's got himself P5. That's the perkiest we've heard him all year, isn't it? Without any doubt.
And he switches onto the option and doesn't get the greatest of getaways either. And something's gone wrong, yeah. So he didn't get the greatest of getaways. And I don't know if the anti-stall had kicked in Martin in the pit lane.
You're not allowed to reverse in the pit lane. He switched it off.
Well, so they're all sprinting down to find him, but he might have been sat there a little bit too long. I think the front right tyre might not have been put on properly, I'm hearing. Let's just have a little look.
No, you're right, Crofty. There's somebody very unhappy there. You look, the right front is completely off, just hanging on by the threads.
Let's just see now. Everything done in an absolute blur.
Lewis Hamilton's being told more fuel saving is required, so it was fuel that he used up in that hot middle stint while they were chasing down the Red Bulls. So that's sad to hear for any Lewis Hamilton Mercedes supporters out there. Let's hope that he at least has some fuel to do something later in the race.
And he's going to lose here, Ted. Second place to Sebastian Vettel. Sorry to cut you off. Sebastian Vettel into the first turn. Easy to get past Lewis Hamilton. Fuel saving and a bit of DRS combining to give Sebastian Vettel that second place back again. And now he can get after his teammate Mark Webber, who is now nearly 5 seconds further up the road.
If you see what he's doing, he's pushing me off and now he hits me.
Right, well, is this racing or is this aggressive blocking?
It's Hülkenberg pushing his luck, but I don't think it was that shocking, frankly.
That wasn't very clever, though, was it, for the Caterham on Romain Grosjean?
Open up the gap to Hamilton. 42.0 should do it.
And Hülkenberg just locked up going into the hairpin, and that's how Kimi Raikkonen was afforded the opportunity at about 185 miles an hour to finally get past the Sauber.
Still hasn't really got the job done yet, though, until he gets through the exit of turn 2 into turn 3.
So a set of scrubbed option tyres. So
he's the first one to pit again, isn't he? As he was last time, and that could hurt him at the end of the race.
The thing is, though, is he now still having to save fuel? Can he push as hard as he would like to? Has he got the juice to get to the checkered flag in the manner to which he would like? So Sebastian Vettel now stops for what should be his final pit stop, and it's the medium compound tyre that goes on.
Poetry, that was.
You could go and see Swan Lake and you wouldn't see more people working in tandem and harmony at such a rate.
A little zipper front wing change there for Rosberg. Here comes Hamilton. Hamilton will just maintain position ahead of Rosberg. And there it is. That's a heart-sinking feeling when you come out of the pits. You just hope you've done enough. And sure enough, there comes your teammate around and through. The difference, and it looks like the team are only just going to be ready for him, but ready they are. That's where a few tenths of won and lost, is that long pit in.
Maybe a late call then from Mark Webber and his race engineer Simon Rennie. What Sebastian Vettel is doing a little further back on the track.
How close is this going to be?
Well, it's going to be close. Webber's got the inside line, remember, if he can stay ahead. But where does Vettel go now? Dancing round the outside. Webber just about keeping ahead. Covers the line beautifully. Going through turn 1. Forces Sebastian Vettel to back off.
He's going to have to go right. He's going to have to stay right to defend against his teammate.
He
needs to force his teammate left. He's done that. So now he's got the high ground, as it were. He needs to make sure he can keep it inside, and then Vettel not get fully alongside him, so he can claim turn 5. And that's exactly what he's done. So Webber defending like crazy, and he had to do that, but he positioned his car beautifully.
And baking hot. And now down the main straight we go with Mark Webber and Sebastian Vettel. Vettel has got that DRS, so he might be in a position to have another little go here. No, going into turn 1, stays ahead, but further back down the road, Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. Hamilton ahead and up into third place in the Mercedes. So it's Webber, Vettel and Rosberg, and Hamilton, I should say, Meanwhile, Hamilton's former teammate Jenson Button is consistently putting in the fastest laps of the race at the moment.
His tyres were finished, and so now he's found that he's much better on the softer tyre, and we have seen that this season, haven't we, as they trade places here. But Hamilton got that place back. Hamilton much happier now on the softer tyre. Jenson Button, meantime, has got clear air now and has been told to push.
I wondered how Hamilton ended up behind Rosberg, but he overtook him on the way into that corner and then returned the compliment on the way down to turn 1.
Lewis Hamilton's going to have to defend again as well. But
what a race!
You want to be a bit cuter here, though. Rosberg, should get Lewis Hamilton now into the hairpin, but Hamilton will have DRS in which to get back at him. And oh, look, it's wheel to wheel again for the two Red Bulls, Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber. Vettel on the inside. Has he now stolen the lead from his teammate? Can Webber scrap back? Oh, fantastic stuff. Mark Webber regains the lead, but the battle is not over yet. And there is barely a metre between the two cars as down the hill they plunge and side by side onwards towards the braking zone and turn 4. Webber on the inside. Has he got the better traction? No. Vettel goes dancing round the outside, and it's a dance that takes him into the lead of this race. Wow, how good was that?
On the throttle to make it turn.
This is probably the silly bit that Christian Horner's referring to. That was very close to both cars coming off worse.
And if you want the two great drivers in your team, you've got to put up with this sort of thing. You've got to manage it.
Pastor Maldonado is out of a race again in 2013, and we have only had 2 races, and Maldonado has failed to finish either of them.
There we go. That could have ended in tears at any point.
That was at the end, I think, of lap 40, or the start of lap 47. You can see what Adrian Newey thinks about it, as Mark Webber, using DRS, tried to get back at him. And once again, Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. Rosberg moving past Hamilton and Ross Brawn, having a little chat, not to us, but to his drivers. He was the aggressor, wasn't he, in terms of he was trying to do the overtaking, as Kimi Raikkonen is trying to do the overtaking. Round the hairpin, goes the long way round and manages to get the job done, but for how much longer? Because now we're into DRS activation zone 2, and Sergio Perez, as you can see, is getting the job done himself. Can Raikkonen stay ahead? Looks like he's just got the pace to do it. Felipe Massa will try and tiptoe around the outside of this as well, and Perez has lost not 1 but 2 places within the space of a couple of corners. So Raikkonen now 6th, Massa 7th, Perez 8th. Felipe Massa on fresher tyres, about to wipe the smile off the Finn's face, you would imagine.
I would say that's pretty much a given as early as now. And Kimi's given him the cleaner line as well, for good measure. And he's not going to spend too long fighting that unnecessary battle.
So out in front, the gap, now that Sebastian Vettel has gone clear, 3.7 seconds. The gap to Lewis Hamilton, 8.2 seconds. And Lewis just about 8/10 clear of Nico Rosberg in 4th place. Long gap back to Romain Grosjean, running in 5th place at the moment of about 15 seconds. And then this battle you're watching now, Massa, Raikkonen and Perez, with Hülkenberg 9th, Sauber picking up the remaining 2-point scoring positions at the moment. And what was that? That front wing end plate that came off of Raikkonen's Lotus? Let's just look again. The serrated edges, those curves.
Well, don't forget, he's been across the grass, hasn't he, at turn 12, the exit of turn 12 a couple of times. So that's cried enough and made a bid for freedom at the end of his front wing.
I can go so much faster. Just let me drive fast.
Negative. Negative, Nico.
Oh, dear.
Nico, Lewis's pace is what we're asking him to do. He could go a lot faster as well, so he's being controlled as well.
And an important race for the Mercedes team. Of course, their main sponsor is based in Malaysia. So with 5 laps remaining, they stay 3rd and 4th. And down to you, Ted.
Sebastian, left front wear on this stint is worse. Think about brake bias. Think about brake bias. Save the left front.
What happened to Daniel Ricciardo into the pits, and that looks like a car that's about to be retired.
Had a technical problem, he needs to come in and retire. They apologised to him. Oh, I'll let you do Massa.
Yep, Felipe Massa and Kimi Räikkönen, and Massa had been gaining somewhat and now moves himself up. So on Roman Grosjean, I should say, up into 5th place.
Turn to speed up a bit, this is too slow.
Nico, please drop back, leave a gap. We have to look after the cars. There's a massive gap behind and there's nothing to gain in front. I want to bring these cars home, please.
Al Jensen Button is retired. Down to you, Ted.
Okay, Lewis, we need maximum fuel saving for this last part of the race, please.
On to the final lap. Lewis Hamilton maybe having to coast home, much to the displeasure and impatience of Nico Rosberg behind him.
So they're very nervous then. They haven't got enough fuel to complete this lap. He's got to coast around. He's got nobody behind. They've got Massa 15 seconds behind him. Well, other than his teammate, who's his rear gunner, and has been told he can't come out to play. He's got to stay behind him. So Lewis, what that means is just keep going up the gearbox, part throttle, coast it round.
And for Rosberg, who has been on the podium before here in Malaysia, the podium in 2013, tantalisingly close, but as it stands at the moment, out of his grasp. I'm sure we'll hear plenty from him after this race as well.
It's so tempting for Rosberg just to pass him, and fight it out when he gets back.
Yeah, it's not exactly going to do much for inter-team harmony. These two, at the start of the week, really good mates, really good friends. They've been together before as teammates. I wonder how much they'll understand the situation from each other's point of view at the end of it.
Good job, we were close, but we've got work to do. We know that, but good drive.
Ross Brawn managing the situation then from the cockpit as the checkered flag comes out and is waved for Sebastian Vettel, who wins the Malaysia Grand Prix. His teammate Mark Webber, who led the race for such a long time, beaten into 2nd place. It's another 1-2 finish here in Malaysia. It's a 13th 1-2 for Red Bull in Formula One. It's a Mercedes 3 and 4 as Hamilton completes the podium places. And Rosberg in 4th, crashed out on the 2nd lap of the race. Grosjean comes home to take 6 and a decent point scoring haul for him at Lotus. And then his teammate Kimi Räikkönen should be next to follow from Hülkenberg and Perez.
Good job, Sebastian. Good job. Looked like you wanted it bad enough. Still, there'll be some explaining to do.